Hello and welcome to Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis Jai and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. This is Saturday and we are in for FOL Marketplace where we discuss business, finance, economics, and everything in between. Today we're going to talk about money. Study shows that everything we need requires money. There are divorces and other financial problems and other domestic issues resulting from the lack of money. People go bankrupt. Sometimes they end up with depression. They are sick, and the rest, their life is in total ruin. You see that the more you don't have money, the more you worry, the more you get depressed, and the more things go from worse to ridiculous. Even back home, when you talk to our folks back home and you don't talk money, they look at you and say, that man, since he went to America, nothing he's doing for us. So money is very important. Even the Bible says money answers everything. So the question is, why aren't we talking about money? Why is it that we don't study money, we don't see how we can make money and how we can become financially independent? This is very crucial, and that is why we have invited a financial professional, Mr. Borbi Bropleh, to tell us about how money works and the steps we can take to financial independence. Borbi, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Good afternoon, Dennis. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We are glad, very happy to have you because this thing about money is very serious. We need to talk money.
Yep, definitely. We definitely do. They say money is the root of all evil, but it's the love of money.
The love of money
is the root of all evil.
Yeah, but money itself, the Bible says, answers everything.
Of course. I'm glad you're well well informed. So yeah, especially Dennis in our community, the issue of money and how money works has been one of the main hindrances, I would say, of it prevents us from getting ahead, even in a country like America, where they say this is the greatest country in the world. If there's any country in the world that you want to visit or live in and be able to build wealth, America is probably the best. Now, with that being said, why is it that so many of our people have not really experienced the American dream?
Right. Borbi, before we even get there, and I want you to talk about yourself a little bit and what you do. But my first question is, why is it that we don't know a lot about money? For me, let me tell you my personal experience. When I was growing up, many people said I was very good in school, but nobody told me about money. And what I heard in my community was, if you're a guy and you love money, hold on 1 second, then so why don't we talk about money a whole lot? Why is that?
Well, I mean, it could be, it could be cultural. For you and I, we came to the U.S. when we were already adults.
Send it to you.
So we're more or less driven or governed by what we grew up seeing and what we grew up knowing, right? And for me, my story, my parents are both well educated. My dad has since passed on, but my parents all have terminal degrees. The teaching was, go to school, attain, a very high level of education, and everything will be okay. And that was basically it. Go to school, get a job. The concept of business and money was not a big topic of conversation in our household, but education was. And I'm not saying this to knock education in any way, Dennis. You know how much I value education. Yeah. However, education comes with the knowledge of how money works, and that's a key factor that has been missing in our community, and not just in our community, even in the U.S. Here, people who who were born here, Native Americans. There is that issue as well, but not as prominent as in our community. And
Right.
that's pretty much it. In terms of who I am and my background, as you guys probably are already aware, I'm from Liberia, Monrovia, Liberia, born and raised. Came to this country seeking a better life, like many of us, and jumped into the workforce and have worked in corporate America for 13 years, and and I just realized that I needed to make a change, and studying the financial system in America, I realized that business was probably the way to go, just because of the tax benefits of business. And I got thrown into finance. Well, a little background. I worked at a bank, a major bank in the U.S., and so I thought I knew a lot about money. But a friend of mine introduced me to personal finance, and a company that was willing to have me work there part time and kind of learn how money works, and that is what happened. And so that's just a little background of of where I'm from. I'm a licensed financial professional, and my strategy is education. All
Right.
right. Yeah, I take the education route. And with that being said, let me just put a disclaimer out there that everything I say here this afternoon is for education purposes only. This is not. Do not consider this as financial advice. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just giving you financial concepts, and I'm just going to educate you a little bit of how money works.
Thank you, Mr. Bropleh. And currently, you work with a team. I know the last time you were here, we spoke about personal finance, and you're back so that we can go a little more into it. Tell me exactly what your company or your organization does, and how are you helping people currently, and what's the feedback you're getting so far from the work you do?
Well, the feedback is good, Dennis. This is more like a crusade. Um, the name of my organization is Transformation Financial. It's my division of the company is part of a much larger company called Aegon out of the Netherlands. They've been around since the late 1800s. They're number 9 out of the top 10 financial companies in the world, or companies in the world for that matter, that are too big to fail. So we have a lot of backing there. But like I said, I wanted to run my own show. So I have a company within a company, so to speak. And just the crusade of getting this information out there, Dennis. Just teaching people the various little concepts that which we'll get into a little later. But these are things everybody needs, these concepts about saving money, having an emergency fund. This is something that I would say a lot of even Liberians practice that concept from back home. It's just saving money, right? And they say keep 3 to 6 months of your income in a separate account, right? An emergency fund account, or your expenses, either way. Let's say if you spend if your monthly expenses is $2,000 a month, and ladies and gentlemen, that's by American standards, not Liberian, obviously. But if it's $2,000 a month, then you want to keep at least $6,000 in an account that you don't touch, right? Liquid.
Wow. But Bobby, before we get deep into it, what is the need for this, or what are some of the issues you see, especially in our Liberian community, for which you think you should carry on this crusade, as you call it?
Well, it's hard to pinpoint which issue is the most important. I'll touch on all of them as we go on, but I think one of the biggest issues is life insurance. Okay, because life insurance should be the foundation of anybody's financial plan, right? if you have a lot of money in the bank, Dennis, you have 300,000, 400,000 in the bank and in investments, then life insurance may not be as crucial for you. But what if you're working, trying to take care of your family, you're getting by, you got a house, a car, everything, but you only have $5,000 to $10,000 in the bank. If something were to happen to you, the question is, what happens to your family, right?
Yeah.
And I think because we have the ability here, using a financial system that's been running for a long time, very reliable. Most of these financial companies have been around for at least over 100 years. At least the ones that I work with, they have all been around for a good bit. They're A-rated companies at the least. It provides some degree of certainty that you can invest or pick up a life insurance policy for your family, and it will be there to deliver. So that's one of the biggest impacts, because if somebody passes away and they have a $500,000 life insurance policy, at least your family doesn't have to mourn you, number one, and then worry about how they're going to survive, which is what happens now. In fact, the cry is more when somebody dies without life insurance, because you're really thinking about the struggle that the family is going to go through, especially if this individual is the breadwinner. So that's one of the biggest topics, Dennis. But we'll go into
we go. So let's and the topic here is how money works, and we have steps to financial independence. How does this topic apply to our folks in Liberia?
Oh, the concepts are the same, right? The concepts are the same. The only difference between the U.S. and Liberia is maybe in Liberia we don't have as much access to some of these big brands that have been around for a long time, right? But we have up and coming West African financial organizations, that are pretty solid and robust. So again, the concepts are the same. The concepts of money are the same everywhere. So learning this stuff, I think it will be very important, especially for the people in Liberia, because you can take advantage of a lot of things other people may not know about. So this is very critical.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. On Saturday this time, we discuss about money, finance, business, economics. My guest today is Mr. Borbi Bropleh. He's a financial professional. We're going to be talking about how money works, steps to financial independence. So, Borbi, I want you to take your time, just like you are eating Kool-Aid, and talk to us about these steps to financial independence. I'll be very quiet and listen to you and invite my listeners, my viewers to go along and just listen to you for at least 10, 15 minutes to talk to us about how we can be financially independent.
Absolutely, and I really like that throwback to eating Kool-Aid, because back in Liberia the Kool-Aid was a solid little ball of ice, right?
All right.
I used to like the purple one. That was my favorite, purple Kool-Aid.
You see, when I say you're born with silver spoon, because I couldn't even afford Kool-Aid.
What? Everybody can afford Kool-Aid.
Okay, that's a joke.
Anyway, so speaking of affording anything, I believe the very first topic to take a look at is cash flow, Dennis. Cash flow is just money coming into your household and money going out. If you have more money coming in than going out, you may be okay. But if you have less money coming in than going out, then you have a big problem. And usually it can be fixed just by simple budgeting. I remember, like I told you, I worked in corporate America for over a decade in a financial company, one of the top 3 largest in the U.S. actually, and I thought I knew at least the basics about how money works, but to my surprise, I learned more working in my business in 6 months than I learned over a decade working at a bank. So that just, it proves that not everybody that works in finance actually knows about how money works. Okay. I knew one little aspect of finance when I worked in a bank. I just knew about banking, and that was it. So cash flow is very important. We do a lot of spending that is not tracked. And you can probably relate to this, Dennis, where, just on the fly, you jump on Amazon and you purchase something, or you take the kids out to the mall and, you purchase things that are not really part of a budget. In fact, most of us, dare I say, do not really have a budget. The budget is whatever our check is, our salary check is. That's the budget, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the first things that we tackle. And I went through the process myself. It was a big eye opener. I recommend that everybody should sit down with a financial professional and do some serious cash flow analysis, because most problems can be solved from that point. Okay. And then the next thing we want to look at is, and which is becoming a very, 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 very critical component of financial knowledge.
Bobby, before you go there, you said cash flow analysis. You
Mhm.
said you should sit with a financial person to do a cash flow analysis.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about cash flow analysis.
Okay, cash flow analysis. Sorry for using that big word. Remind me every now and then so I can break things down a little bit. So cash flow analysis is just basically looking at your money that's coming in, looking at your expenses, right? And figuring out where the money is going. That's what most people have to do. You make some money, but then at the end of the month, you have more month left than money. You want to have more money left than month, but most of the time we have more month left than money. And that's a part of a larger problem here in the US, Dennis, where incomes are not even going up as high as or as fast as expenses. And by expenses, I mean inflation. Inflation is the cost of goods and services. That seems to be rising faster than the money that we're bringing in. In fact, that's why organizations like Social Security factor in costs of living increases every year. It's because of that. They know things are getting more and more expensive, especially when you look at key items like housing, right? And even automobiles. The cost seems to be rising much faster, and it's seriously outpacing our income. So that's a problem. So everybody needs to do some sort of budgeting. Let me just use that word, budgeting, where what I had to do one month was just sit down, go look at all my bank statements and credit card statements, and basically write down everything that I spent money on. And it was shocking. Most of it was not accounted for, and I was just wondering, why is it that, I just find it hard to save money. Basically, you heard the term living paycheck to paycheck, right? That's how I was. And until I did, some cash flow analysis and realized that I can redirect money in the right place, in the key areas that I need to do to save and for retirement, for investments, and so forth. So that's what I mean by cash flow analysis in a nutshell. Okay. And then we'll move on to debt management. America is in serious debt. Okay. In fact, we're talking trillions and trillions of dollars, Dennis. Forget about the $1.9 trillion that was just passed a few days ago by the government, the new stimulus package. But even before then, we had trillions of auto loan debt, credit card debt. The new thing now is student loan debt, and then you have mortgage debt, right? Trillions of dollars. And why is that important to look at, Dennis? Is because every debt comes with an interest rate,
Yeah,
meaning that you're gonna pay back more than you borrowed. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that if you have a lot of debt, it's probably because you couldn't afford some of these things that you were purchasing in the first place. Would you agree?
I agree.
Yeah. So, but then imagine having to pay back more than you even borrowed. That's the trap that a lot of families find themselves in. And in America, is so easy to acquire debt. In fact, after the 2008 financial crisis, the government had to recognize that fact and put some safeguards in place to try to protect consumers from lenders that would just um, they call it predatory lending or just overzealous lending where they get you in trouble basically, right? And you
Yeah,
take up all these loans and next thing you know you're underwater, and then you find yourself basically working for this financial institution.
right.
Now in a very short period of time, meaning probably within about 4 or 5 years, they've already made their money back from you just from what you've been paying them. Everything else is profit, but
Yeah,
you're still stuck there with the same amount of debt, $10,000. You've had this debt for 4 or 5 years, maybe on a credit card at 18%. That debt has already doubled. You've paid it back already, and you're still paying it back. And next thing you know, you find yourself filing bankruptcy
right.
or something else.
And Bobby, what's happened is you have a credit card debt, let's say as low as 1,500,
Mhm.
and they are telling you pay $50 every month, and you really think you are gaining,
Yeah, you
but
think
you pay that $50 for 5 years, you still paying back.
yeah, and that's the dangerous part. What you want to do is you always want to purchase things that you can afford. By afford, meaning save up the money and buy what you need to buy. If you cannot save to buy something, is probably too expensive for you. But at the very least, there should be acquire debt that or put your debt under control. There's under control debt and out of control debt, and you might be asking, what's the difference? If your debt is in control, or if you're in control of your debt, there is a set payoff time schedule, right? So
Yeah,
think about auto loan, right? It's a 5 year loan, or you
yeah,
can get it for 6 years, 7 years now. But it has a it's amortized, so the payments are divided up equally, and you will pay it off in 6 years, right?
right.
But then let's look at a credit card where you got 15,000, 10,000 on a credit card. There is no payoff date. There's no set monthly.
Yeah,
They have something called a minimum payment. It's very deceptive. Ladies and gentlemen, do not pay only the minimum payment. Try to pay that thing off as quickly as possible, because uh, that financial institution is only interested in doubling your debt. That's how they make a profit.
yeah,
You know. So debt, there's good debt, and then there's bad debt. What they call good debt, like a mortgage loan debt. You know, where or something like maybe a student loan debt, where it's for you're trying to acquire education, right? Mortgage loan debt, the interest rate is lower, and you can build equity in your home, and that equity you can use for different things. The home is not depreciating, right? But let's look at an auto loan debt. If you go pick up a car note, the minute you drive the car off the lot, it starts depreciating right away, right? And it continues to depreciate. Um, so that as much as you can, try to purchase a car outright, purchase a used car outright, right?
yeah,
And the money you save from that has to go towards your long-term savings, your investments, your retirement. people wonder, where am I going to get money? I can't afford to do anything. But yeah, you might have a expensive cable plan, right? Where you're paying $200 or more. Is that more important than picking up a life insurance policy to protect your family, should in case something happens to you? It's your decision to make.
Mm.
Nobody's going to live forever. What ends up happening? You've seen it in our community when we work with the Liberian organization.
Yeah.
Every day somebody's passing away, right? Some people pass away, in their, when they're older, which is expected. But many young people pass away as well.
Yeah.
Many people have families. When are we going to stop this GoFundMe thing? We should start to take advantage of the financial system in this country and leverage it to our advantage. And one of the best ways is through life insurance. And then, so continuing with debt, you want to get rid of debt because, incidentally, the more debt you have, the more other lenders charge you higher and higher interest rates, right? And we have this measure of your credit worthiness in America called your credit score. Your credit score is higher when you have a high debt to income ratio. So that's, if anything, that's one of the main reasons to get rid of debt, because people who are in debt pay more for everything, if you really break it down. And then you look at why do people get in debt? It's because we've stopped the practice of having an emergency fund. Okay. Emergency fund is your little stash that is under your mattress back in Liberia, or, you have to have something saved.
Yeah.
And that money saved will be used if you need to buy a new tire for your car. You may even need to buy a new car at some point. Your car is not going to last forever. It's not a question of if you're going to have an emergency, Dennis. It's a question of when. I mean, things just come up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Your roof could develop a leak, or you're in the middle of winter and your heating system goes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to act very quickly.
Right.
Now, if you don't
or you like me, who ran my car 2002 through the garage door, and it's winter.
Mistakes happen,
Yeah.
You gotta have an emergency fund to use to take care of that emergency. And there's a culture of consumerism in America where we have these commercials on advertisement and commercials on TV for everything, Dennis. Clothes, travel, this, that, and the other. And it causes you to lose focus on what is important to you. And your family is the number one most important thing to you. So taking care of your family should be the most important thing. And buying stuff for family members, your kids, buying them a new pair of shoes every other month, that's not taking care of them. Get them a good investment plan and put that money into their investment every single month. That's smart, right? So you want to do an emergency fund. Separate this emergency fund from your regular bank account that you use, to pay your bills. This should be a separate account. One good way to do it is to maybe set up one of those online bank accounts where you don't even have a debit card, okay, to tempt you to use the money. And then we move on to proper protection of your finances and your family, and that is life insurance, Dennis. You remember I said earlier that I believe life insurance is it should be the foundation of everybody's financial plan. And when I say life insurance, I'm talking about life insurance outside of what your job gives you, because that really doesn't belong to you. It belongs to your job. Today or tomorrow you stop working for this company. Now you don't have life insurance anymore. Oh, and by the way, you are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years older because you've had this insurance and you thought it was yours. Now you go to get your own life insurance, and it's that much more expensive because the price of life insurance, Dennis, is based on your age.
Yeah.
And also is based on your health. 10 years ago, you weigh 140 pounds. Today, you weigh closer to 200 pounds. You're not going to get the same price for your life insurance plan. So it's very important to get it as young as possible. Even when you have kids, get them covered. Most companies will start coverage from 15 days old. Get them their own life insurance plan. Now, let's talk about one of the myths about that. Culturally, where we're from, people don't even want to consider, a lot of people don't even want to consider getting life insurance for themselves because they see it as bad luck. But more so, they definitely don't want to get it for their kids because they see it as even more bad luck. I'm not trying to put that kind of bad luck on my child just so I can get money. It's not about you. Okay. It's not even about your child. You're just setting your child up for the future. They're going to have kids. If your child is covered with a good amount of life insurance now, and it's cheap because they're young and healthy, that means when they grow up and they have their kids, they will already have a life insurance plan that your grandkids are going to get eventually, because nobody's going to live forever. So that's one of the things that we try to teach our community, Dennis. That it's a very simple concept.
Yeah, but this is what I learned. This is what I heard, that there's no point getting your child 15, 16 years old on life insurance because they're not working. They're not going to lose. They're not going to lose income when they die. So what's the point? That's what I've heard.
Yeah. So that logic is really only looking at yourself and the child. So life insurance is something that's gonna be around. You're not gonna put more money in than you're gonna get out of it. But think of it this way, Dennis. Eventually your child is gonna grow up, right?
Yeah.
And then they're gonna need life insurance to cover their families, right?
True.
Are they gonna pay the same price as if you had started it up for them and turn it over to them? Or are they gonna pay more?
Pay more from what you just said.
Okay, so that's one of the secrets, and that's one of the concepts that we teach people. The wealthy families that you see around here, people who are financially savvy, usually they have a financial professional like myself that give them these nuggets. You see, Dennis, people are not wealthy because they have money. You know how life is in America. It takes a second to spend any amount of money you can think about. Any amount of money you can think about, you can blow in 1 year in America. Okay? But why do these people just stay wealthy? It's because they have a financial coach, right? Everybody needs a coach. The best soccer player in the world, Messi or Ronaldo, they don't go on the football pitch and coach themselves, do they?
No.
No, everybody needs a coach. And but guess what? Those who have the best coach end up doing the best, right? So so the concept of life insurance, in fact, there's even some new life insurance now, right? Most people don't even have life insurance right now. What you're calling life insurance is more like death insurance, because you have to die and then your beneficiary gets the money. But
that's what scares people about life insurance, because death insurance.
Well, there's new life insurance now that have living benefits.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, living benefits is where you're alive. But imagine getting a terminal illness or a chronic illness or critical illness. You know, critical illness is like a heart attack, cancer, stroke, you know, maybe an organ transplant, something major. That insurance, some insurance companies, there's not a lot of companies that offer that, by the way. They will allow you to use your death benefit. It's called they will advance you a large portion of the death benefits, some of them up to 90, 95%. of that money while you're still alive. And that helps a lot of families, because one of the biggest causes of financial ruin in America is actually health,
Yeah.
health related. One bad sickness and your family is devastated financially. So, so possibly a life insurance policy with living benefits could be a good factor to mitigate that risk.
And Bobby, is important, these educational things like what we're doing,
Yeah.
because I know a friend who said he's never going to have life insurance. He's married, because that would be the easier way for his wife to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, people say that, but that's not really what people see, right? I don't see that. I see when I sit with a husband and a wife, I sit with couples. I see these people just wanting to be covered should something happen, right? Just because you have auto insurance doesn't mean you're going to go crash your car just to get paid, right?
Yeah.
Nobody does that. It's just so you want to look at not the probability of something happening, but the possibility.
Yeah.
If it's possible that something could happen to you, and this is the question I ask my clients that say that. If something were to happen to you today, what happens to your 2 kids? You just told me that you don't have enough money saved to take care of them. You're the biggest breadwinner. So what happens to your kids? And then, it dawns on him that, wow, yeah, this thing is true. I need to have something set aside for my kids now. So if you go with that argument, Dennis, then you're not even going to do anything. Imagine for a second, you make a lot of money and you save it in the bank. Does that protect your life? I mean,
No.
if something happens to you, doesn't your spouse still get it?
I know.
Yeah, so you're essentially saying that you're never going to achieve anything because you're afraid of somebody, you see. So it's just one of those fears. Most fears are not even realistic or real things. It's just things that, but yeah, definitely. Life insurance, it does a lot. There's even life insurance that you can. There are 2 types of life insurance, basically. There's temporary life insurance, okay, that some people call them term life insurance, and there's permanent life insurance. Okay, with temporary life insurance, it's like renting a house. It's not yours. You're going to have to give it up at some point. Usually they go up to 30 years. They can be anywhere from 10, 20, 30 years, 25, 30 years. And then after it's done, it's done. You don't get anything back. All right. Then there's permanent insurance where, you'll have it for your whole life. In fact, one type of permanent insurance is actually called whole life insurance. And it's the most common. Everybody knows about whole life. But there are newer variations of whole life that have come up over the last 30 years that are pretty good. One of them is the indexed universal life, where you can actually put money into this life insurance policy using this IRS code called 7702A. 7702A. Look it up, ladies and gentlemen. That IRS code allows you to put money into your life insurance policy where you can take the money out tax-free up to a certain amount, right? Up to a certain amount. There's a limit to how much you can put in it. But I feel like everybody should have one of those that can afford to save some extra money. Now, that'll be a good place to save money if you can take the money out tax-free. Yes, 7702A as in Apple.
Oh, A as in Apple.
Yeah, 7702A. It's a IRS code, just like 401k is an IRS code as well, and 403B is an IRS code. These are things to know about. And then we will, we move on to
building wealth.
Another part of it. I'll just quickly end with this life insurance topic. Another life insurance plan that's common is final expense. If you have a older parent or family member, and you don't want them to go through the whole underwriting process because they have a lot of issues going on, pre-existing conditions, and then you just want to get them a guaranteed issue life insurance policy or a final expense life insurance policy. It's usually a smaller amount, but they don't have to go through the full underwriting process. Okay. And then we'll talk about wealth building. The key to wealth building is, again, we're talking about taxes again, right? Let me ask you a question, Dennis. Do you think taxes are going down in the future or going up?
They'll always go up.
It'll always go up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, if it's going to go up or down, but I believe, like you, that taxes will go up, especially since since we have more debt that's coming that's coming into the budget. $1.9 trillion. Where does the government get money to pay off their debt? They get it from taxes. Yeah, so taxes have to go up. Now we have some of the lowest tax rates right now, because there's the what they call the Donald Trump tax cuts that are still in place until 2026. So we're paying the lowest tax rates right now until 2026. After that time frame, who knows what taxes are going to be going to? It might even go up to 50, 60%. It's been that high in the past before. And we didn't even have this kind of debt, Dennis. It's really, really concerning. And that's one of the main reasons why, I'm pushing this crusade to inform people about how money works. It's important to just sit down with a financial professional and just look over your finances and see areas that you can improve. If you already have a financial professional helping you, get a second opinion. It's that important. If you were going to get a heart surgery or brain surgery, you will most definitely get a second opinion, Dennis. You're not going to take one doctor's word for it. So I think finances is equally as important as that. So building wealth is all about investing, Dennis. Is the key to investing is wherever you're putting your money, make sure you're keeping up with inflation and outpacing inflation. Because if you don't outpace inflation, you're wasting your time.
Right. So let's talk about, when you say wherever you put in your money, what are some of the areas we can put our money called investment?
Well, let me give you some of the areas that people generally keep their money. All right. I'm not sure if they're thinking about investing it there, but that's where the number one area I think that has a lot of money is bank accounts.
Yeah.
Checking accounts, savings accounts, certificates of deposit, what they call CDs, and those types of accounts. There's a lot of money in those accounts. And my bank offers 0.03% interest on my money in the bank. Why would I keep a lot of money there? Right?
So let's talk about that. If 0.03% interest, if you have $1,000, how much? What's the interest you get?
Do the math. I can tell you this much. It would take you, if you're earning 0.03% on your money, there's a special rule, and you can try this at home. It's called the rule of 72. It tells you how long it takes for your money to double, Dennis. Albert Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world, the magic of compounding of interest. So if you take 72 and divide it by 0.03%, it's going to take me a whopping 2,400 years before my money doubles. You divide 72 by the interest rate that you're earning on your money, it tells you how long it takes for your money to double.
So meaning if you have 1,000, for it to double to 2,000, it would take you that number of years.
Yes, sir. Even at 1%, if you're earning 1% on your money, which is what a lot of people would earn on a CD. If you put your money in a CD and lock it up for some time, it would take you 72 years for your money to double. Dennis, do you have 72 years to wait?
No, I don't even have 72 years to live.
But at 4%, it takes only 18 years for your money to double. At 6%, it takes 12 years for your money to double. And at 10%, it takes 7.2 years for your money to double. Okay?
Yeah.
So if somebody is earning 1%, their money doubles from 10,000 to 20,000 by the time they're 101 years old. But if you're earning 10% on that same 10,000, by the time you're 72 years old, your money would be about $640,000.
Wow.
Yes, just because it's compounding.
So where do you put it to get that money?
There are many different places that have averaged even higher than that. Okay, and that's something you want to sit down with your financial professional and look at. There are many areas. The recommendation is based on your family situation. Mm-hmm. Everybody is different. It's not a one size fits all. But yeah, there are places. But now let me tell you something interesting about that. You see how you remember I said at 4%, your money will double every 18 years, right?
Yeah.
Your money in the bank. Doesn't the bank take your money and loan it back to you at a higher interest rate?
Yeah, they do.
So let's say so it works the opposite. So if the bank gives you a credit card at 18% and you don't pay that credit card off quickly, that credit card debt doubles in 4 years. So your debt is doubling quickly and your savings are doubling very slowly. That's why banks are rich.
Yeah.
It's not because of the overdraft fees or the late charges they charge you. That's not where they're making their money. They're just making their money on the rule of 72 of compound interest, how they're compounding your debt day and night. So most families, I know when I heard about this, imagine I worked at a bank and I didn't know how the bank made money. Can you imagine that? I didn't even know how they made money. I thought they made money from charging fees, but that wasn't the case. So I thought that was very interesting. You want to outpace inflation, basically, when you're investing. There's actually there are three ways you can save your money, Dennis, and let me just talk about that for a while, for a second here. There are three types of places you can keep your money. The first place we already talked about is fixed account. By fixed account, we're talking about a bank account, money market, savings account, interest checking account, certificate of deposit, even naked mutual fund. CDs is a fixed account as well. And a lot of bank accounts are fixed accounts. The interest rates are very low, right? Right. But they're stable. They're not invested in the stock market, so they don't go up and down. It's stable, right? And people, and that's what's attractive to people. People want something that's stable. Besides that, they want to be able to use their debit card, right? You don't want to carry cash around. You don't want to keep it in your house. You've heard stories about people's, homes getting flooded or burning down to the ground. Right. And you just lost all your money you were keeping under your mattress, right? So that's why people keep their money in the bank. But then there's other people that want their money to grow, so they'll invest it in the stock market. That's a variable account. Okay, if you look at a chart, the stock market chart, it's a roller coaster. It's up and down. Yeah. Today is up, tomorrow is down. So there's some uncertainty there. The plus side is you're able to there's a possibility of getting a good amount of interest. You can get some gains, right? Right. The downside is you can lose all your money. and that has been very sad for some families that lost everything in 2000 and then 2008, and then even last year when the pandemic hit, some people's wealth got wiped out and it never came back, right? Um,
So it means that when it go high, you just take it out.
if you can.
That's a big deal.
I say that because everybody is trying to take it out, right? So who can take it out first? But somebody's gonna be left holding the bag, definitely.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna be left holding the bag. How do you protect yourself? That's what brings us to the third way. There's another way you can save your money called indexing. You see, with indexing, your money is not invested directly into the stock market. Okay. It mimics what happens. It imitates the stock market. But the benefit of indexing is you take advantage of a majority of the upside of the stock market and no loss. Because most index accounts have a 0% floor. So you don't risk losing your money. You may not get as high as the stock market gets, but at least you don't lose your money. So many people actually come out ahead using the indexing strategy. When the market goes up, your money goes up. When the market crashes, your money stays flat. And then when the market eventually goes up, your money goes up. And when the market crashes, you stay flat. So if you look at it, it's like steps. You can never lose, right? All right, you muted, Dennis.
That takes us to the last point.
Okay, good. The last point is preserving wealth. So if you do steps 1 to 5 correctly, then that means you have some money left over, right? And you have to protect this money and make sure it's transferred to your next generation. And you decide who gets the money and not the government. You know, we all have that favorite Uncle Sam. If you don't have a will, for instance, or a trust, and if something happens to you, then Uncle Sam appoints a probate attorney or probate judge to determine who gets to keep the money and whatnot. It saves a lot of trouble just to have a will. You have a little bit more complicated financial situation, then you want to get a trust, right? Again, we see tax reduction here because Uncle Sam can charge you a lot on your money after you die. You know, they call it estate taxes, right?
Right.
They figure out you're already dead, you can't complain much, so let's just charge this guy the most taxes ever. So yeah, you definitely want to do that. It's all about building your family legacy. Okay. Dennis, we have to think about the next generation.
Yeah.
Legacy planning. You can ensure that your kids and grandkids are wealthy, depending on what you do today for them. Okay, start that account for them. Start some type of savings account where your money can be invested in a way that you get good returns on it, right? There's so many different things that you could set up, but over time is when you see the results. Investment is not a tomorrow thing. And that's one of the key things people have to realize. You see a lot of people doing day trading nowadays, right? They're trying to make money today.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. Very risky. You see how people lose money. Look at GameStop. You know, using Robinhood. A lot of individuals are using Robinhood these days. But they're not thinking about investing like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett thinks of investing as just buying a part of a company. You're buying a part of the company. So you're
throwing some things in there, Robinhood, Warren Buffett. So let's start with Robinhood. The guy who can rob the rich and give it to the poor.
No, well, Robinhood is an app. Okay, it's a company that allows individuals like you and myself to just get the app on our phone and buy and sell shares. So it's called Robinhood. I guess the thinking is, to rob the rich and give to the poor. But I'm
Beautiful.
not sure that's what's happening right now anyway.
The rich are selling. All
Yeah.
right. I want us to go through some questions from our viewers, but before we do that, just take 1 minute each. We say there are steps to financial independence. So, what is financial independence? And for 2 minutes, let's run through the 6 steps that we went through.
Okay. Well, financial independence is knowing exactly or determining where you will find yourself in the future. Okay, that's financial independence. That's financial. Some people call it financial freedom. Okay,
And the way
you
to
got to
and the
take.
way to get there.
The way to get there is very simple. Sit down with a financial professional and let them chart a course for you to take. There are 6 steps to our method. Number 1 is cash flow. We want to look at your cash flow, how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, where is it being spent on. And the easiest solution to that is just budgeting, having a budget. However, Dennis, a lot of families, just budgeting will not help. You actually need to make more money. Find
Yeah.
some way to make more money. You may have to get a second job. Okay, you may have to pick up some extra hours at work. You may have to start a side business. Okay, and that's one of the reasons how I got into personal finance, because it was a business. It wasn't a job. I wasn't interested in finding a job because I didn't have the time to take up another job. I was looking to make an extra 1,000, 2,000 bucks just helping families with their finances.
Yeah.
Um,
The
and
next.
and one key thing about starting a business in America is just the tax benefits that you get from being a business owner, right? So when you can write certain things off, like your phone bill, gas mileage, and travel, and many other things, your internet at home, your printer, ink that you buy for, and even portions of your home that you use as a home office could be written off. So everybody needs to have a side business. And some people say, hey, I don't need any of that. I make good money. I make 6 figures. So what? That just means you're paying higher taxes. You're even in a worse position than a guy who's not making 6 figures. Get a side business going so that you can take advantage of some of these I don't want to say loopholes, but tax advantages.
Yeah. Okay. Quickly, the next is debt management. This is 30 seconds each.
Yeah, debt management. Yeah, you wanna consolidate your debt. There are many strategies to get rid of debt. There's a debt avalanche strategy where you focus on one debt, knock it out, and take the same money and put it to the other debt, and on and on. Because debt can multiply very fast and it'll put you in a hole. Then the next one we want to look at is emergency funds. We want to start saving money. There's nothing you can do without saving money. 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, you pick the number and start working towards saving that money into a separate account that you use only for emergencies. And then the next one is proper protection. Again, this is the foundation of a financial plan. Dennis, don't go talk about, I want to go invest through Robinhood, or I want to go buy stocks and bonds and all of that. And you don't even have the proper amount of life insurance, right? What if you just have a $10,000 or $20,000 policy at work? That's not enough. Sit down with somebody. You may need more. Maybe you need 200 or 300, 400, 500,000, $1 million of life insurance. Get that first, then you start thinking about investing in other riskier ventures. And then we look at building wealth. We just talked about it. This is investing. We already saw that you cannot save your way to financial freedom, right? The interest rates in savings accounts are just too low. So you have to invest. But there are different places that you can invest. You can invest in the stock market, whether it's a mutual fund or 529 college savings plan, or just buying stocks and bonds. People are buying Bitcoins now. I don't know much about Bitcoins. It's still kind of new, but a lot of people believe that investing in Bitcoins now, will be the ticket to wealth later on. We'll see. But yeah, you definitely want to take advantage of investing. And then there's the indexed accounts that you could get involved in as well. That's most of my investments are in index, Dennis, because I believe I don't want to lose money, but I want to gain money, right? But again, there's a limit to how much you can put in most index accounts. So you may still have to go back to the stock market again. And then the last one is preserving your wealth. Don't procrastinate. Get a will today. Call your financial professional, sit down and get a will set up. That will save you a lot of headache. All right. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Let me bring in a few comments. And Bobby, thank you so much. Let's hear from our viewers. Jackie Sire said, my mother did not have a big government job that was in Liberia, but she got private life insurance. As a poor student, when she died, her entire burial expenses were covered. There was money left over. Many Liberians think that their families will enjoy when they sue. Life insurance is for living. My mom's death taught me that. And this is all in Liberia. Jackie, wow. When they die, I never had to worry or borrow to bury my mom. For many Liberians, priority is good time and living for today.
Wow.
Jackie is basically, and I think she's right. She's on the point. What would be the first household expense or perk a family should cut or reduce on their road to financial health? That's a question for you, Bobby.
Well, thank you very much, Jackie. It depends. Every family is different. That's why we need to do a financial analysis to see the areas that can actually be cut. There's some expenses that are non-discretionary. So you want to keep the important things and you want to cut the ones that are not important. Everybody, there's a level of importance for everything that you spend money on, and it's different for every family. In America, the thing that most families would cut first is things like cable TV bills, right? Because it's pretty high, and you don't really need a cable channel these days. You can get a streaming, one of those streaming channels like Hulu or Netflix or one of those, and you can still have access to a lot. Even YouTube, you can have access to a lot. I don't have cable at my house, even though my wife works for a cable company, and we could have it, but I don't have it because I just don't use cable. We cut cable out a long time ago, but we have a bunch of different streaming channels as well. So that would be my answer to that, Jackie. Thank you.
Cynthia Logan, and if you are healthy, those policies with living benefits are not expensive either. That's what my husband and I have.
Yep, definitely. Way to go, Cynthia.
Stella Jeffrey said you have to give some recommendations, Bill, on where to put the money. I think you did.
Well, I don't know if we have time for that, but I don't know, Dennis, if you can put my number up and my information. Stella, you can give me a call, and we can take a look at some options for you.
Right. Sam Wallace said he was not aware of the 7002A.
Oh, 7702A. Well, the tax code is very big, Sam. I guarantee you there's a lot more that you're not aware of.
Attorney Mombedo Nidin Joase, how does this work in the Liberian context? She's sending this from Monrovia.
Oh, well, nice to hear from you, Madam Joa. The concepts of financial independence are the same everywhere. The only difference with America is the different types of financial institutions that you can invest through. But there are big financial institutions in Africa as well that you can utilize. I'm not familiar with all of them, but maybe a good first step will be to talk to your local banker to see what options are available in terms of savings and investing. I know Liberia is not too big on that. We don't even have a stock market in Liberia, but some other countries have developed stock markets now. Um, but yeah, I mean, something like having an emergency fund, cash flow analysis, that's something you can do. Um, there's debt that's growing in Liberia now. You know, people can get auto loans, I understand, and mortgage loans. I know in Ghana for sure, people are getting mortgage loans. So you could definitely fall into the debt trap. And getting a will is something you can get in Liberia. Okay, and of course investing.
Okay, Sandra Nyakonse, can you please give some information about some companies or investors one can put the 401k into? We didn't talk about 401k. So talk a little bit about that and recommendation that Sandra is looking for.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to be giving investment advice here on this show. This is just for educational purposes. But Sandra, thank you very much for your question. Usually with a 401k, your employer, um, gives you access to the 401k that they have, right? It's an employer based investment vehicle. All right. But you can get a 401k outside of your job. And the thing about a 401k, and that, by the way, that 401k is also an IRS code. It allows people to put money. Usually, your employer, it allows them to put money into this plan pre-tax, before taxes, right? And the money gets to grow tax free. But at the end, when you retire, when the money is growing, you can't really take the money out before 59 and a half years old. So that's one of the stipulations for the 401k plan. You have to be 59 and a half years old before you're allowed to take the money out without paying a 10% penalty. So meaning if you do take it out before then, you'll pay your taxes that are due. And then on top of your taxes, you'll pay a 10% penalty. Now that 10% penalty, that's just going to pretty much wipe out any kind of gains that you got in the plan in the first place. So with a 401k plan, you have to be careful and just know that that's what's going to happen. Now, some people ask too that in the end, when you're taking the money out, when you're getting ready to retire, Dennis, so you're 65 years old, how much taxes am I going to be paying on that money? Well, it's whatever the tax rate is at that time, right?
Wow.
So if today the taxes are low and it's 40%, 50%, that's what you're going to pay, the 40% and 50%.
Still more questions about Liberia. Liberia's interest rate is 25% with 5 exclamation point. Can the Social Security in Liberia lend money to workers to get a side business? What are Liberian banks doing to help people build wealth in Liberia? Do you know?
Well, I guess this person, Jackie, is in Liberia, right?
No, Jackie is in New York.
Oh, she's in New York. Okay,
Yeah.
Jackie, well, thank you very much for that question. Wow, 25%? Now, what kind of interest rate is that? Is that the lending rate or the savings rate?
Lending, I think.
Yikes, that is, 25%. So if you pay 25% just to borrow money, and then you got to turn a profit, I think that is pretty high, Dennis.
Yeah,
that is really high. It'll be a struggle for any family to get by paying those kind of high interest rates, unless, of course, you just had the loan for a very short time, maybe a month or two. Yeah, that's pretty high. Wow.
Yeah, that's Liberia, and we have someone is joining us from Yakipa, Liberia.
Oh yeah.
Matthias Tommy Nasibo say hi, just tuning in.
Mr. Matthias, how you doing, sir? Welcome.
Right.
Welcome.
So,
Wow. So
Bob,
that is your show is actually global.
yeah, when we
Very
said,
impressive.
yeah, it's global, and there are a lot others watching, but sometimes they watch, incognito, which is also
Incognito.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bobby,
Definitely.
thank you so much. As I said from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
money or learning about money is so important. Growing up, what we heard in my community was you're a guy, you learn about money, you say you love money too much, you will be a rogue, you will steal. If you're a girl and you love money too much, they say, look at you, you love money too much, you will be blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So learning about money is very important. I want you to just, in your concluding statement, why is this important and what are the next steps? And by the way, let me put your number up here so our
Okay.
people
Yeah. Just in
can
case
give you
somebody
a
has some
call. This
questions.
is I hope I get it right. This is Bobby Bropleh. He's a financial professional. His number 404-645-5358, and let them sit with you. We can do all on the show, but I'm sure Bobby will take your call and talk to you concerning what can be done. What are the next steps,
Yeah.
Bobby? People listening to us.
You can put my email there as well. Some people want to
Yeah,
just send an
definitely.
email, especially if they're international. But yeah, I'll be happy to answer any questions that your audience has, and I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their day to. I mean, talking about money is not the most interesting and exciting topic, Dennis, but I believe it's one of the most important things that we can talk about. You got God, you got health. The next thing is money,
Yeah.
right? And so you can't play with money because it will cause you a lot of distress.
Yeah.
Our community, my passion is just getting this information out there to people as much as I can. It pains me to hear about a funeral announcement, and yet again another family is experiencing financial ruin because their family member did not have life insurance. Some of this stuff is so cheap. I mean, it could be like you could pay as low as $15 a month, $20 a month. It's not expensive. That's something that we should have is the foundation. We want to save money. We want to get back to saving, right? You have to save money. If you don't have money to save, then we want to look at your cash flow and see what's going on. What are some of the areas that can be improved, right? Um, you know, uh, debt. Debt is actually causing a lot of the cash flow problems, Dennis. If you want to pinpoint it to one thing, one problem in families' cash flow is debt because credit card debt. I mean, you want to better your life. You want to get a college degree. You want to get a master's degree, Dennis. Next thing you know, $50,000, $60,000 student loan debt.
Yeah.
It's sad, right? It's really really sad. People are trying to get educated, trying to get ahead, but then they're saddled by all this student loan debt. So, uh, and student loan debt, especially the federal student loan debt, you can't really do anything about that, Dennis. You know, private student loan debt, yeah, you can work on that and try to get it, consolidated or something. But federal student loan debt, you're gonna pay that money. So,
Yeah.
um, and then there's auto loan debt and home loan debt. So, America is in serious debt. So we have to understand how debt works. Debt can be good, but it can be bad, and you just have to understand the difference.
Yeah.
And yeah, and get a will or trust. Sit down with a legal professional. Let them put things in place for you. Prince died without a will, and even Aretha Franklin died without a will. Even the Black Panther, I understand he died without a will. So it's just not it's not a problem of just the poor. It's a
Yeah.
question of procrastination.
Yeah.
Let me wait until I don't know. I'll figure it out at some point down the line. Yeah, but that's basically it, Dennis.
Thank
Uh,
you. And Bobby, the best teacher ever lived
who?
was Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of Jesus' parable, he told one about investing, right? You know, and Jesus told a parable about this rich guy. He was going away and he gave talent to his people, right?
I
And
remember that.
about
Yes.
that, because the money, people were doubling the money. So look at this. He gave one 10 talents. Let's take that to be $10,000. The
Okay.
other guy $5,000, and the other guy 1,000. So the guy with the 10,000, I think he really learned about the rule of 72. So he put his money in a place where it doubled. So when Jesus came back, the guy doubled it and gave it back to him. The
Okay.
guy with the 5 talents, I mean, this is, you're talking about 2,000 years ago. Jesus was talking about indexing and stock
Yeah.
market, right? So the guy with the 5,000 doubled it as well. And then the guy, I don't know if this guy was from Liberia or where he came from, but he did not. Maybe he had his money in the bank. So
Yes.
it did not grow any interest.
Thanks for anything.
And that was the guy who was punished. Those
Yeah.
guys that doubled their money, they were rewarded. And the
Yeah.
guy who put his money in a regular savings bank, he got put in jail.
Wow. Wow. That's so true. And the thing, this is these concepts were alive 2,000 years ago.
Exactly.
I think I mean if Jesus could talk about this issue, then you can see how important it is, and I think families need to do that. Having said that, though, um, I see a lot of Liberians. I work with a lot of Liberians. In fact, a lot of Liberians work with me. I become financial professionals. That's one thing you can do on the side because it makes a lot of money. It's one of the highest paid industries in the whole world, financial services. So that's a good side gig. But I see more and more people gravitating to wanting to learn more and implementing the strategies and whatnot. It's just a question of somebody taking the initiative and taking it out to the people, and I think it can solve a lot of our problems. Even back in Liberia, we just need to do more instead of just talking. We need to start doing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's I think that's the takeaway for the entire day. Let's do more instead of talking because
Just talking.
in our little corners, if we can create wealth,
Yeah.
if we can do that, a lot of the things that we complain about, that we whine about, and that we kill each other for, I don't mean literally kill,
Right.
or which
Right.
we are at each other's throat, they will be, resolved. So
Yes.
if you never done it before, you can watch this video. It will be on YouTube. You can give Bobby a call or drop him an email. The number is on the screen there. Or you can just drop us a line at focus on Liberia at Gmail, and we are your gateway to all the Liberian professionals. Liberia has so many professionals, so many book people. We bring them here, and what they do is to share knowledge. And so we want you to take advantage of that and be a part of this exercise. This other comment, I have to put it there because it's so annoying. This guy is telling me that I was born with silver spoon. Oh, okay, no, he said most silver spoons. Okay, actually, Bio is a twin brother of Bobby, and both of them were
Yeah.
born with silver spoon. They try to deny that.
No
This is our inside joke. But thank you so much, Bobby, for your time.
Dennis, thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We want to thank all our viewers for hanging in there with us. Always keep it set here at Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Later on tonight, we don't just talk money, we don't just do education, we also do a lot of politics. So later on tonight, we're going to be discussing the president's nationwide tour. We're going to talk about the death of the EPS officer, and also the strike, the demonstration by the legislative staff, and what Senator DeLong said about that and what is going on. We're going to talk about that. Mind you, Focus on Liberia, we are now broadcasting in Monrovia on Hot FM 107.9, Wednesday at 11 a.m. local time in Monrovia, Thursday at 5 p.m. local time, and also Friday at 11 a.m. Tune in to Hot FM. If you are in the United States, download the TuneIn app and listen to us to these broadcasts, and you definitely going to come away being a little more informed and educated than you came. tomorrow, we all left Liberia, some 20 years ago, some 30, and some even more. But there's something about Liberia that we cannot forget. This Sunday at 6, we're going to do what we call This I Remember. So we are going to have someone who came to the USA in the 1960s. He remembers a lot about Liberia. He's going to be sharing that Elder Sai Nyokoro Nyansia, a former radio or broadcast TV personality, a media person, and former Queen or Miss Liberia, Madam Professor Wilma Red, is going to be here too to share this I remember. Last but not the least, focus on Liberia Chief Political Analyst, Mr. Wilmon Wetty Kuning, is going to be here also to share this I remember. It is a journey of nostalgia, reclaiming, and remembrance. Keep it set at Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Until then, my name is Dennis Jai, and we never end our broadcast without playing the song that says, "We are all Liberian." You can be Gula, you can be from the southeast, the northwest, or wherever you may come from. You may be born with silver spoon, a golden spoon, or no spoon at all. What unites us is we are all Liberian. Stay blessed and have a good day.
We are